when you're put with the right people, when you're put with these really professional people in Nashville, I think they're going to bring out the best in me, and I may just actually like my own stuff.
Viewers, if you thought American Idol 2025 ended the story for John Foster, you might want to grab your seat, because what followed was far from the expected footnote of a runner-up. Foster may have taken second place, but the aftermath of the show painted a picture that looked nothing like a consolation prize. While most second-place finishers fade into the background of TV trivia, John exploded into an entirely new spotlight. The moment he walked off that stage after losing to Jamal Roberts, Foster made it clear through social media and interviews that he wasn't finished. He was just warming up. He dropped an emotional post that not only acknowledged his journey, but also promised his fans something bigger, deeper, and more lasting than a title: music with meaning. His tone was raw, humble, yet filled with the kind of confidence that only comes from someone who knows they're just getting started. The press covered his statement like a political declaration, and fans doubled down, flooding his posts with support. It became obvious John Foster was about to turn a so-called loss into the kind of momentum most winners would envy. Then came the song that cracked the entire room wide open, not with volume, but with vulnerability. Tell That Angel I Love Her wasn't your typical post-Idol single, packed with polished hooks or overproduced choruses. It was a stripped-down, emotionally drenched tribute that John penned himself, dedicated to his late friend Maggie Dunn, who tragically passed in a car crash. The lyrics didn't beg for attention, they grabbed it by the heart and refused to let go. Fans across TikTok, YouTube, and even music critics found themselves unexpectedly moved, with many comparing it to some of the most emotionally resonant debut singles in Idol history. In one stroke, John went from TV contestant to bona fide songwriter, someone whose pain transcended art, that transcended genre. Country music forums lit up with praise, and industry insiders began murmuring about the rare authenticity that bled through each verse. The single wasn't just a tribute, it was a signal that Foster's music would always come from a place of truth, no matter how raw or uncomfortable it might be. Just when audiences thought they'd seen the best of him, John made his live debut at none other than the Grand Ole Opry, one of the most revered stages in the world of country music. It's the kind of performance spot that even established artists wait years for. And yet, there was John Foster, standing tall just weeks after his Idol finale, delivering vocals that silenced any lingering doubts about his legitimacy as a rising star. His set was described by audience members as spiritual, grounded, and a throwback to when country music still made you feel something. No flashing lights, no choreographed spectacle, just Foster, a mic, and a crown held in the palm of his hand. Critics in Nashville began calling him the most genuine voice in the 2025 Idol class, and that moment became more than just a gig, it was an initiation. From that night on, John was no longer the runner-up. He was the artist who dared to honor tradition while building something undeniably new. But Foster didn't ride the wave quietly. Instead, he tossed gasoline on the fire by posting a cryptic photo from inside a Nashville recording booth, looking over his shoulder with that signature half smirk and a caption that read, "Can y'all guess what I'm up to? It's something real, and it's country." That one sentence was enough to light fan speculation ablaze. Was he recording his debut album? Was a collaboration with another Idol alum or major label artist underway? Music gossip sites jumped on the mystery like bees on honey, with headlines speculating everything from acoustic EPs to a surprise documentary soundtrack. The post gained thousands of likes in under an hour, and music TikTok ran wild with theories. Foster never confirmed or denied any of the speculation, which only added to the mystique. What was clear, though, is that he understands the art of controlled hype, a rare skill in the age of oversharing, and he used it brilliantly to turn one quiet moment into a thunderous buzz. Amidst the musical storm, Foster took a step back that made just as much noise by doing absolutely nothing. Well, nothing in the public sense. He vanished from the spotlight momentarily and resurfaced with a series of sunset-soaked vacation photos alongside his girlfriend Brooklyn Bork. Posing on a beach, drinks in hand, no industry noise in sight. It was a side of him fans hadn't seen since the Idol whirlwind began, and it hit home. The images weren't just romantic, they were grounding. They reminded fans that behind the voice, the camera angles, and the headlines was a young man who still valued peace, connection, and the people who supported him long before he stepped into stardom. Fans commented things like, "This is why I love him, he's real," and "Still the same guy from day one." The break also worked in his favor marketing-wise. It created anticipation, mystery, and above all, humanized him in an industry often allergic to authenticity. Of course, the journey wasn't all beach vibes and standing ovations. There's an undeniable weight that comes with being second best. No instant record deal, no built-in promotional machine, and often fewer media appearances. But instead of being buried by the idol system, Foster began building his own. He started popping up at local bar shows in Nashville, joining indie music panels, and even releasing acoustic clips from his living room. These weren't cries for attention, they were calculated bricks in the foundation he was laying. And slowly but surely, those small wins started piling up. Country music podcasts began featuring his journey, highlighting how he was doing things the old school way, earning each inch, earning each fan. The underdog narrative stuck, and Foster leaned into it, becoming a symbol for those who believe talent doesn't always need a label to rise. What really started to shift the public perception was his live presence, raw, magnetic, and stunningly intimate. Whether it was a local high school auditorium or a surprise pop-up at a record store, John Foster's live sets felt less like performances and more like communal experiences. He wasn't just singing, he was storytelling. His lyrics weren't overproduced radio fodder. They were letters to people who'd loved, lost, and lived through their own heartbreak. In a time when much of music feels copy-pasted for streams, Foster was an outlier. Fans walked away from his shows saying things like, "I cried and I don't know why," or "It felt like he was singing my diary." That's not branding, that's soul work, and it's the kind of connection you can't fake with filters or fancy lighting. As 2025 progressed, speculation about his next moves intensified. Some fans pointed to a possible nationwide tour. Others noticed cryptic follows on social media from industry giants that suggested label negotiations might be brewing. There was even a rumor swirling about an Apple TV docuseries following his post-idol rise, which, while unconfirmed, gained serious traction after a journalist spotted him filming with a crew outside a Nashville cafe. Through it all, John kept his lips sealed. No big reveals, no dramatic teasers, just subtle hints, fan retweets, and more heart-heavy posts about songwriting, family, and faith. It was almost as if he knew that keeping fans curious was better than giving it all away. Whatever's brewing, it's building, quietly, and it's working. Perhaps the most unexpected twist of John Foster's post-idol life has been his cultural influence. Not on charts or playlists, but on young creatives. His emotionally charged performances have inspired dozens of teen musicians to post covers of "Tell That Angel I Love Her," some even citing the song in school projects or talent shows. Music teachers report students asking to study his lyrics. Songwriting forums are filled with threads titled "How to Write Like John Foster." Without ever setting out to be a role model, he's become one, showing that vulnerability, storytelling, and patience are still powerful in an industry chasing flash and filters. It's proof that authenticity doesn't just inspire applause, it inspires creation. And now, we arrive at the million-dollar question. Will John Foster be remembered as just a second-place finisher, or will he rewrite the rules of what post-idol success looks like? If these past months are any clue, he's already done the latter. He's forged a path without the glitter, without the machinery, and somehow made his story more compelling than many idol winners before him. In an industry obsessed with speed and volume, Foster is taking his time, building depth, and letting his voice do the heavy lifting. As of today, he stands not just as an artist, but as a movement. Quiet, steady, and completely unbothered by the need for validation. He's not just surviving, he's thriving, and proving that sometimes second place might just be where the real story begins.